Doing business in Japan is what we're talking about today on the eCentral Business Show. I'm John Nayler and I'm joined by Rei Eichmann. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Oh, fabulous. Now you're from Cultural Training Consultancy. Now a bit of backstory, folks, is that recently you had me over to do an event where you brought me into a boiling pot of culture with some Japanese students from Hokkaido. It was brilliant. It was a lot of fun. But there's a passion around that for you, yeah? And you've done it before.
Yeah, we've done this in London before, and I always had this thing thinking, I also did it by myself. You know, I think that going somewhere, you know, it takes a lot of time, effort, and money as well.
Sure.
So just don't go there to study English, you know. And I think it's really important to have the basic skill, like not on top of the language skill, but you need to do something in overseas, out of your comfort zone.
Sure.
So for Japanese people, speaking English is quite a big thing already, but using English and do something, for example, organizing an event or meeting, you know, organizing company visit is a big thing. So I help them doing this through the program.
Yeah, right. And I saw that, you know, because a well-organised meeting, you shuffled around the tables, there was someone was the MC for the night and that sort of thing, and there was someone else got up and did a presentation about Hokkaido, and so it was brilliant. But we're here to talk about doing business in Japan, and I'm always confronting people that are connected with Japan about the Japanese story. I grew up in a time where consumer electronics was all Japanese. You know, the burgeoning internet or sort of computer industry, a lot of that componentry was Japanese. A lot of the cars, Japanese. I mean, where did sort of Japan, you know, for want of a better term, where did it fall off the cliff? You got an opinion?
Yes. Well, I've been, living out of Japan for a while, but seeing Japan as Japanese, I really kind of worry because I know all this legend that Japan has built. And I see the young people, they grew up in such a rich country and not really knowing what they want to do, or kind of, everything's there without trying hard.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, obviously previous generation, they've tried hard to build this. But younger generation, even in higher education, I see that Japanese people are less want to go out of the country or out of their comfort zone. So I really feel worried.
Yeah, for Japan and its future type thing. And obviously this is part of your reason to help people and the backstory, which we'll get to that question about doing business in Japan fairly shortly. But I'm inspired around it. You know, a little bit worried myself. I see that Australia is a leading first world nation with good social welfare, minimum pay rates, and a lot of reasons for us to just go to the beach. You know, and then you look, you know, in contravention of that, you look at a country such as the US, which is still getting on and doing some incredible things, sort of despite itself almost, you know. And it's like no one's told, you know, America that the tour's over. It's like Mick Jagger's still partying, you know. I see sort of the US a bit like that. The party's still raging, you know. Yeah. And you say Japan has already gone past that point where they don't have to work so hard, or there's not the inspiration, yeah?
Well, everything, I'm sure you've been to Japan and you know that everything is already kind of given. So the service, the level of quality, the service is amazing.
Oh yeah, the trains run on time.
Yes, trains on time.
You can cross the country on Shinkansen in no time, but
you
fabulous.
Lose your, wallet, and the people will send it back to you, your home country, and all this, exceeded service is kind of getting a lot of pressure. And obviously at the same time, in Japan, there's a lot of service overtime.
Yeah, sure.
People working in Japan getting more pressured and working a lot of stress.
Yeah. So anyway, so you're inspired around helping people do business in Japan, yes?
Yes.
So what are the sorts of things you like to teach people at the fundamentals about doing business in Japan?
Well, I meet a lot of non-Japanese people, and sometimes you just don't know. Like maybe you could be offending someone without noticing, or sometimes when you're in a meeting with Japanese people, say yes, I understand, and then you go, okay, so everything went well. Do you have any question? They say no, I don't have any question. And 3 months later, you still don't have any contract signed or agreement signed, confirm things happening. What's going on? I thought the meeting in Japan went well.
Yes, yes.
But actually, you don't know, because Japanese people, they don't really say no. directly.
Okay, and that's as opposed to like, so the Dutch will tell you, you know exactly what's going on when you're with a Dutch person, don't you?
Yeah, or German people will say, I don't agree, straight. But Japanese people will say, we agree. They're disagreeing. So how do you know that? When you're doing business, you kind of need to have that kind of awareness skill, cultural awareness skill that Japanese people are like this. And knowing this, with or without this kind of skill, it's quite different.
Yeah.
Working with Japanese.
Okay, cool. So, and what do you see? Is it worthwhile? Like we've talked about, Japan's maybe a bit past it at the moment, but where's the opportunities in Japan? What are the reasons to do business with Japan?
Well, obviously, Japan still has a lot of strength, strong industry like robot or technology, and there's a lot of opportunity. It's just I think that when you have the right mentality and approach sincerely with Japanese, there'll be a opportunity.
Yeah, okay. And the Tokyo Olympics coming up.
Yes, yes.
That's significant, but that'll be meticulously, efficiently run, yeah?
I'm sure everything will be, but still I think a lot to catch up to get the Tokyo to be truly international in terms of infrastructure and the speed.
Yeah, because it's been some time, and like we've seen that, in terms of the history of Japan, we've seen that with that 1964, I think was the last Olympics. So this is when it all started to come together for Japan, yeah. And they've reached their peak, and now in a bit of a decline, a bit of a depressed state presently type thing. And so 2020 might be a bit of a renaissance opportunity for them. Do you think?
Yes, I'm sure a lot of Japanese people are very excited about this Olympics. So it's a great for young generation people to have so many, international people visiting Japan. And
Okay, now what do you think about in terms if you want to do business with Japan? I mean, is it worthwhile trying to learn Japanese, or expect that they know English, or is everything going to need an interpreter?
Depends of your business size and your, objectives. But I would say the minimum business manner would be useful. Language-wise, you will see a lot of Japanese people speaking English. So when obviously you do the research and you communicate with this kind of people, but the business manner is quite important. So if you know it, like how to exchange business card,
yes,
where to sit in the room, who's more senior, who's more junior,
that's important.
Even that's kind of unknown, but we don't really talk about it, but all Japanese people know. So that kind of small thing will help. Okay,
great. And that's obviously a great reason to have a conversation with you, Ria. So now how do people contact you?
I've got a website, so if you could contact me through the website called culturaltrainingconsultancy.com.
Okay, and that's the way that they can find some information about what you do and obviously get in contact, phone numbers and the rest of it.
Sure.
Oh, fabulous. Okay, Ria, I'll get it right eventually. But anyway, look, fabulous information. Appreciate you coming on the eCentral Business Show. And that's enough done for this episode of the eCentral Business Show. I'm John Nayler.